The 1920s, we had a major bubble in automobile companies. So any company with the name motor in it would go crazy. And we had hundreds of auto companies in the US because all these bubbles have a kernel of truth. And the kernel of truth at that time was that the horse is history. That was true. Okay, the horse was history and automobiles were going to be huge. And that was also true. So there's always a kernel of truth around which a bubble gets built. But eventually, 99% of those businesses turned out to be bad investments for investors. Okay, it was terrible. Then in the 1960s, early 60s, there was this tronics boom. So if you had a company with the name ended in tronics, okay, it got spectacular valuation because it was all about this microelectronics and transistors and how that was going to transform stuff. And that was also true. I mean, semiconductors and all of that have transformed our lives beyond belief. But 99% of the businesses went bankrupt. They don't exist, okay? Then in 2000, it was .com, right? Anything .com. Again, a great kernel of truth because it was truly transformative. And we truly had something revolutionary and it has changed. I mean, without the iPhone, you don't have Uber. Okay, the whole Uber and Airbnb and all these ecosystems or DoorDash, they cannot exist without the iPhone. The iPhone is basically a supercomputer in your hand. Right. Okay, so that enabled so many other industries. But in the year 2000, again, the .com boom, there was a core kernel of truth that, yes, technology is huge. But again, 99% of the businesses went away, right? And now we have crypto, right? So
and EV.
Yeah.
And EV.
Yeah. And so the thing with the crypto end of things is that there's new coins and new currencies being created every hour.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's a frenzy because everyone thinks, hey, I can create my own and whatever else, right? And I remember that, I used to go every year to the Harvard Business School campus for a week. I was doing executive ed with them. And we would meet the MBA students for one night for dinner. Wednesday night, there were a bunch of YPO and the MBAs, we went out for dinner. And every year, the MBA students were very polite because they knew that we were an industry, we could give them jobs. They were very polite and, on best behavior and whatever else and passing you their resume and all of that, right? In 1999, in early 2000, this was in February 2000, I remember when I was on the Harvard campus, the MBAs weren't even interested in coming to dinner. Okay, like it was hard. Their professors put a lot of pressure on them saying, listen, you signed up for this thing. You don't show up, I will take it out elsewhere on you. So the arms were twisted to come for dinner. And at dinner, they told us, listen, man, all of you guys, a bunch of dinosaurs, okay? In about 6 months, my net worth is going to be 5x what your net worth is. I got this startup. I got the VCs. I'm going to disrupt the chemical industry. I'm going to disrupt the thrash industry. I'm going to disrupt the pets industry. And I'm going to do this and that, whatever else. And when we went back in 2001, things had gone back to normal. Yep. They were very polite and they were giving you a resume and all of that.
Okay. This is fantastic.
So that was the bubble. In 2000, you just saw that bubble where they pretty much were giving you the middle finger, yes, telling you that you are a total idiot.
Yep.
And that's the way it is. And so I think that crypto, I think the last time I was seeing it's the total value across all of them is more than like 3 trillion. That 3 trillion, in my opinion, will disappear to nothing. And it's not that big because global wealth is about 500 trillion. But the 3 trillion is concentrated and it's in it will hurt a lot of people. Yes, I mean, if you take all the crypto to zero, that hurts a lot of people.
Yes.
And
does.
and the other thing that is Charlie has a different view on this. I think he said recently that the current bubble is bigger than the .com
Yeah.
bubble. And I actually thought the .com bubble was a lot bigger than the current bubble.
In what regards did you say that? Because go explain to me why you think it was bigger and in what way.
The current bubble is, for the most part, limited to crypto and limited to maybe at the outer end 20 stocks. Okay,
Mhm.
so you definitely have a bubble with GameStop, with AMC, and you may have a bubble with stocks like Tesla. Okay, Tesla.
So you don't think like a company like Microsoft, which is selling for 35 times?
No.
Really?
So Microsoft. So the thing is that in a low interest rate environment, a business like Microsoft, you could justify 50 multiple.
But that assumes that low interest rate stays for how long?
So what I'm trying to say is that a business like Microsoft, first of all, it's an exceptional business because it's got recurring revenue, and he shifted everything to subscription.
Yeah. Yep.
Subscription has given a big tailwind to Microsoft. It's a real. Satya's done some great execution. To me, it is not clear. Microsoft is not an investment I'm willing to make.
Okay, that
Okay.
and I shouldn't have said bubble when I said
But
that.
what I would say is that it's not obvious to me that it's overpriced.
Okay.
What is obvious to me is that AMC is overpriced.
Right.
It's obvious to me GameStop is overpriced, and it's obvious to me all the crypto is overpriced.
And Tesla
Right.
and
Well, Tesla again. Elon just got named Man of the Year by Time. He is a very unusual person. So I'll just tell you something a little bit about the auto industry, just for the Tesla fans who are looking for some fodder. And I don't know, I hate giving them fodder.
You're about ready to though.
But
They'll be in the comments.
yep.
Yeah.
but maybe they'll just take this portion of the video and play it. So I was invested for a long time in the auto industry. I studied the auto industry. We did really well with the Fiat Chrysler investment. If you look at a business like Fiat Chrysler, they were making about 5 million cars a year.
Yeah.
Okay. 4 million of those cars didn't matter because the margins on those were less than $1,000 per car. They were, basically hyper competitive marketplaces, and there are no margins or anything. The area that they made a lot of money was Ram trucks and Jeeps. Okay. And on the luxury end. So if you look at the truck business, the Ram truck business or the Ford 150, whatever, very simply, if you just say that the company is making $10,000 per truck, for example, which they can make because it's a very protected market and great brands. And let's say, for argument's sake, they're making 1 million trucks. I mean, they're making less than that, but some of them are making 1 million. Let's say Ford is making more than 1 million trucks a year. 1 million trucks a year at 10,000 is 10 billion in operating margin. Okay. And that's a good business. And even though it's got CapEx and all that, it's a good business. And if it's growing a lot, you could justify a 20, 30, even 40 multiple on that. So you could say it could be worth 100 to 400 billion. Okay. Tesla has already produced 1 million cars in a year. And Elon is nowhere near done. Now, he doesn't make 10,000 per car.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even make 5,000 per car.
No.
But what is possible with Tesla is that at the end point that Tesla gets to, they could easily be making 5 or 10 million cars a year. Okay. And they could easily have at least a couple of million of those cars with at least $10,000 margins. That is within the realm of possibilities. And the other thing about Elon is he'll go into businesses we can't even think about. It's like my turkey guy. I'm always thinking about what else did he come up with. So the thing with Elon is, what else does he put into Tesla? Now the nature of this bubble with Tesla is that I was talking to some doctor in New Orleans, and I played dumb. He was just all into Tesla, all his money, everything's in Tesla, right? And he's telling me about all the great things about SpaceX. And he thinks everything SpaceX is inside Tesla.
Oh boy.
Okay. And then he's telling me about the Hyperloop. Okay. And everything Hyperloop is inside Tesla.
Boy. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that the nature of the bubbles is people don't go into the details,
Right.
right? And they just say, okay, everything Elon is everything Tesla.
And it's
And-
not.
And it's not.
And they say, look, he will go, SpaceX has a business, Starlink, which will do satellite-based cell phones, right? Starlinks could disrupt the cellular business. It's not within Tesla, it's within SpaceX. And Charlie was telling me he thinks SpaceX is worth more than Tesla. SpaceX is actually probably worth a lot more than Tesla. So
Intrinsically or market cap currently?
well, it's a private business. It's not valued, But I would just say that they are running circles around everybody else. Okay, they've run circles. I mean, Boeing cannot put 3 people into the space station. Shame on Boeing.
Yeah.
Okay, after being in the space business for all these years, you can't put 3 people in a space station. Is ridiculous.
Right.
Well, the
Okay,
reason-
and a startup company, private startup company, does that routinely now. It's amazing.
Running
what
circles
people-
around NASA.
But what people are going to hear from your statement, this is why I asked that question. What people are going to hear from your statement is Tesla's $1 trillion, SpaceX should be $2 trillion. My thesis is Tesla's a phenomenal company.
Yeah.
But what does it have to do, number of cars and amount per car, to justify
so
$1
what I'm saying
trillion
is,
value?
just like with Microsoft, we cannot tell that Microsoft is overvalued or undervalued where it is. It's difficult to tell. It, in Buffett terms, it goes in a too hard pile, right? It's something it's for entertainment. It's not for investing.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla also goes in a too hard pile because there are cases that you can build on Tesla which would make $1 trillion look low.
Yes.
And there are cases that you can build on Tesla will make the $1 trillion look too high.
Yes.
And the same with SpaceX. There are different, space is there's so much open area here that, Bezos makes the statement that we will visit Earth like we visit Yellowstone. That's so far out,
Yeah.
And I'm basically saying that we won't be living on Earth, in effect.
Right.
Yeah, Paul's buying real estate on the moon.
Yeah. Yeah, Mexico, that's so 20th century.
Yeah.
We got to go
That's all
beyond that.
fuddy-duddies.
All investments, I always say on the channel, guys, we don't know the future.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying. And I'm not trying to harp on this. What I'm trying to sit there and say is, you're right. It is too hard to tell. But at the same point, it's also numbers. I look at it and say, okay, let's project these growth. I always tell people the hard testables. All right, give me your assumptions.
Yeah.
30% revenue growth in the next 10 years. Okay, what does that make Tesla in terms of a car company? Great. Give me a margin. Great. That means at current market cap today, it's still selling for 30 times 10 years PE. Does that seem reasonable to you? Yes. Great. Then if you buy it today, you're going to break even in 10 years if they hit all your projections.
Yeah.
And that's where I sit there and say, to me, that's immediately overpriced.
Yeah, I think Tesla to me falls in a too hard pile. Elon is unpredictable in many different ways, and he can pull many. What he's accomplished is incredible. He's really accomplished a lot. I think the US is a big winner. It never spent on his education. Mm-hmm. He was not born here. We got all the fruits. Yeah. The immigration story with the US is fantastic. So I think Tesla is in many ways a great, remarkable story. The other thing I would also say to give Tesla credit where it's due is the rest of the pack has had, the Model S came out, 10 years ago? How far?
2012, I believe it was.
8-9 years ago, right? Yeah. None of them have put out a car that matches the 2012 Model S.
100%.
And the reason they have not been able to put that out is because they are bad at software.
Yeah.
And the car companies, the legacy car companies, will always struggle with software. Okay, so the thing is, there's a gap between Tesla and the others. It always looks like the others are coming, but they're always behind.
Yeah.
Right. And so it is not inconceivable that in the long run, Tesla ends up with 50+% market share. In the very long run, we may end up with most of the auto industry being electric. And we may end up with one or two companies owning 30, 40, 50% market share.
But to me, and I'll say this to everybody out there, if that's your reason for investing in Tesla, that's a lot of what ifs happening.
Yeah.
And that's where so then my next question is, what's the difference between too hard and overpriced?
Right.
That's my question to you. Like, what is the difference between, like, to me, Tesla isn't just too hard. It is overpriced because for it to justify.
See, the thing in the investing business is there are no call strikes. It makes no difference if we are wrong on Tesla if we never invest in it.
Correct.
Okay. I am wrong on a lot of stuff that I never
So
invested in. Okay. It's just par for the course. Okay. Everything Sequoia Fund invests in a VC format, I would probably reject because it would make no sense to me.
Correct.
Yep.
And most of those things end up working, or at least enough of them work that it's a great deal, right? And so the idea is that we don't need to invest in everything that's going to do well. We can't. That's not going to happen. But what is very important in investing is that you have to have strong conviction, the aha moments, which make it complete no-brainers. For me, Tesla is not a no-brainer, nowhere close to it. Bitcoin is not a no-brainer, nowhere close to it. If I'm wrong on Bitcoin or if I'm right on Bitcoin, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. What matters is, am I right or wrong on the turkey bet?
Right.
Am I right or wrong on, some on Micron, for example, that I own?
Yeah.
That matters. Okay. Whether I'm right or wrong on that matters. And so conviction is very important. No call strikes can get a lot. So if things even modestly don't make sense to you, take a pass.